My name is Dr. Morgenstein, and I am an infectious disease specialist. Been in practice since 1980. People believe HIV doesn't cause disease. Other people believe HIV was bioengineered by the CIA or by the government, and I guess no matter what kind of disease state you talk about, there are going to be people who have views which are kind of marginal or, let's just say not in keeping with the scientific basis of the disease state. And there's not much one can do about that. If someone has a firm belief and you can present all the scientific data you want, it has no bearing on them because they just, they're looking at things from a totally different perspective.
One of the HIV dissenters said, why use the big guns when a little gun will do? If he has thrush, then he could just take diflucan or just take the medication for that instead of taking like a whole thing that it's basically just going to make him sick.
Yeah, well, he can take diflucan when he has thrush, and then when he gets pneumocystis he could take Bactrim or whatever, and then when he gets cryptococcal meningitis he could take amphotericin or whatever, and eventually he'll die. Assume not everybody with HIV progresses to AIDS and death, just 90+% of people. But I mean, that's it's completely erroneous because the data is well established that people who take HIV medicines reverse their immune dysfunction. The survival rate is much higher. It approaches normal population. Of course, you can test for HIV. The screening test that one does tests for an antibody response to HIV. But when you're monitoring the course of disease, you're testing for actual HIV RNA. So you're testing for HIV. You're not testing for markers for HIV.
And the reason why they do the screening test and not the viral load initially is why?
Basically time and cost. HIV cases in terms of prevalence are of course increasing because people who are treated don't die from HIV, so the total population living with HIV keeps going up. So the prevalence of the disease in the community goes up. The incidence of new cases, I think, has been relatively constant. I think people with good nutrition probably will live longer with HIV than people who are malnourished, because one of the comorbidities might be tuberculosis, say. So if you're malnourished, you're more likely to get tuberculosis. If you're malnourished, you're more likely to get other infections that go along with AIDS. But nutrition, I mean, that's already been disproven, I mean, we're going back to the 80s now, so nutrition obviously is not going to reverse AIDS.
Have you taken care of people who denied that HIV causes AIDS?
Well, I only take care of them after they realize they're wrong, of course.